Tell them check out the blog, bro. YouTube channel called MKO. It's pugilism, boxing algorithm. M stand for Marvin and Kevin's initials KO. Yeah. Yes, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? This is the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel. We're talking all things boxing as per usual. Of course, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. More content coming to you very soon. So right now I'm just gonna speak to you, give my 2 cents on Dillian Whytes' new trainer, Xavier Miller, don't know where I got that from, but yeah, Xavier Miller, his new trainer. And yeah, just going to give a bit of an update on the previous video I made about the change of trainers. Recently, there's been the lost interview of Mark Tibbs, who was formerly with Dillian Whyte, and you know, they had a lot of success together. They got to, you know, world title level together, and they had like a working relationship for 4 years as trainer and fighter. That came to an end. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting factors there. One of them especially is that Dillian Whyte apparently got his lawyer to break the news to Mark Tibbs, to tell Mark Tibbs that you're no longer going to be coaching Dillian. You know, we're now going to sever ties and all this sort of thing. So yeah, that's interesting because you know, it doesn't seem like something that a guy like Dillian Whyte would do. It doesn't really seem like his sort of thing. He seems a very upfront sort of character, so that's kind of a strange one. But you know, according to Mark Tibbs, you know, that's how the news was broken to him, which is a bit of a shame. You know, just knowing the relationship these guys had and the success they had working together, but yeah, nonetheless, that's how they broke up. Maybe there is more to it. Maybe there's you know, something behind the scenes that we don't know. There's maybe a bit of bitterness there. You know, at the moment, for my part, it's all sort of speculation as to why that would be. But his new trainer now, Xavier Miller, he's a guy that learned to box in an interesting way. He said he learned to box as a youngster. He couldn't tell his parents that he was going to boxing classes and everything, and said he was coached by an individual coach who was excellent for him. He taught him how to use his feet. He took him through sessions where he would only let him use his feet, and he'd let him spar with guys without throwing a punch, and just to work on that, you know, precisely having great footwork and you know, basically working on that defense and not being hit. So yeah, he has an interesting philosophies on training. He's working with some other British fighters at the moment. And the good news about him, you know, for the Dillian Whyte fans, is that he's a guy who kind of, from what he was saying in his Seconds Out interview, he's kind of been part of the Dillian Whyte team and the Dillian Whyte setup over recent years. So he's not a guy who has just been plucked from somewhere and he's just joining for this camp. Apparently, from what he's saying, he's a guy that's kind of been part of the team, part of the camp in times past. But obviously he's not been in the role of head trainer. I think they've used his facilities before, which is, I think is called the IQ Boxing. That's his sort of company, and that's his gym. I think that's the name of it. And yeah, he said that his influence by the Midwest of America in terms of boxing style, in terms of the defense, the Philly shell and all this sort of thing. He said he's influenced by that, and I guess by the Detroit, the Kronk style of boxing. He also stated that he's been out there in Portugal with Dillian Whyte since the beginning of camp, so that's also good news. So it's not like Whyte's been sort of out there by himself. You know, Dillian Whyte's definitely been out there, and by what Xavier Miller's been saying, they've been working on, you know, a specific game plan from day one, from the time, you know, prior to this lockdown. So they've had a lot of months together. This training camp has been, I want to say, at least 12 weeks together. And as Miller said in the interview, you know, he's this is not the first time working together. They've been working together. It's just that now he's taken over the full duties. Now he's become the man. Now he's become the head coach. So yeah, it's definitely good and positive news. Definitely for the fans going forward, and for Whyte. You know, it seems that he definitely knows what he's doing here, and he's been out there in that camp. He said he's only actually been back to England for about 3 days. So, you know, he's really been out there, really putting in the work. And there's also been interviews of Dillian Whyte's sparring partners, his sparring partner from Croatia. You know, he's just got out there a few days ago. And, you know, it seems that from what Xavier Miller's saying, they've always sort of had a good relationship with one another. And, you know, he said they've always had that sort of bond together, but he's just never been at the helm and as the head coach position. Interestingly, he was actually in the other corner. He was actually in Derek Chisora's corner for, I think it was the second Dillian Whyte versus Chisora fight. So he's even been in the opposing corner to Whyte. So he's a guy that's definitely very familiar with Dillian Whyte, very familiar with Dillian Whyte's style. And so they're very, you know, they're guys that do know each other very well. So he's not a new coach plucked from obscurity. He's a guy that knows Dillian Whyte well. He knows his strengths, knows his weaknesses, and it looks to be, from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing, there's a good vibe between them. And, you know, all the best to him. And it looks like it's going to be quite a successful setup. Of course, this is something that will have to be proven against Alexander Povetkin next month, August 22nd, and we'll see the ultimate proof of, you know, whether this setup works or whether it doesn't work, you know, when it comes fight time in the Matchroom Square Garden in the fight camp. You know, ultimately that's really going to be the test of their rapport and of their relationship and their chemistry as fighter and trainer. That's going to be where we're going to see it, the communication between rounds, you know, the build up to the fight, where we're going to really see whether this was a good move or a bad move. You know, Tyson Fury proved, you know, in his fight he changed to Sugar Hill from Ben Davidson, worked for him. So, you know, and it's worked for other fighters as well in the past. So we shall see. You know, ultimately we'll see. Wish them all the best in the upcoming fight versus Alexander Povetkin. And that's just my brief little thoughts on Xavier Miller, Dillian Whyte's new coach. Until next time, remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and it's MKO Pugilism. We're over and out.